Yeah, BlueScope gets a pass though of sorts because it's got a setup there in the United States, one of the few companies to do that. So it was really a quite prophetic move. Andrew Clennell joins me now. A good move from BlueScope a few years back to do that.
Yeah. Well, that's the feeling in government too, that there's not reason for panic because of this, but there perhaps is in terms of the next tariff decision.
Yeah.
If he starts looking at, as anticipated, agricultural and pharmaceutical exports, then we got a major problem, and that could hit right during the election campaign, right?
Yeah.
You know, who can say whether the coalition would make any difference in office? But given they had a bit of luck in the first term, it's quite easy for them to mount the argument, yes, we could. So we'd do better than you, and we don't have Kevin Rudd there.
We've heard from both, Liberal and Labor Party on the show today about the reaction, and they're both standing on their respective arguments. What are you picking up behind the scenes at the moment in your chatter?
Well, I mean, most people will be sitting here wondering why Anthony Albanese didn't make another call. I think if that was the case, another call wasn't set up because he knew it was doomed to failure. I think that's probably what's occurred here.
Wouldn't you at least try?
Well, I can't tell you whether he tried or not.
Maybe
because if they did, I'm sure they wouldn't tell me or anyone, because that's a bad look too. But I have heard that there were what was said to me were deep talks, and we assume, the evidence is face-to-face at least, that's Kevin Rudd, and they just failed to make any sort of leeway at all. So perhaps they were told, don't bother, for all I know, and
they can lean on the argument, though, can they not, that no one got a pass?
Yes.
UK didn't. The UK got the offer.
The Australian government can, politically. Yeah, absolutely. But still,
I know.
The problem is, I've heard the stories about Scott Morrison making a call and getting the exemption, and we know about Malcolm Turnbull doing the same. So, But again, I reinforce, still, that's not going to be something that really moves the economy. But these other products are. Beef, $5 billion worth of exports, someone told me this morning. So,
fair enough.
That's where we're going to have some serious issues if that occurs, and you'd bet at the moment they would occur. So, look, whoever wins office is going to have to be on the plane pretty promptly to America to at least have a crack at it.
Let's just ask insurance companies and this threat to, break them up if they're doing bad things, if I can put it as simply as possible. There's been a clear difference in views between Peter Dutton, Sussan Ley, Angus Taylor, etc. But
it's remarkable.
I mean, Sussan Ley says there's no difference this morning. That's what she was alluding to this morning. But
Peter Dutton tried to say the same yesterday. I mean, all you have to do is have a look at what they said. So I mean, I think this is a concern for the opposition because if nothing else, it's a lack of coordination. Okay, there's nothing gone through shadow cabinet. We can elicit that from what Angus Taylor and Sussan Ley have said. But Peter Dutton, I asked him a bunch of questions on cost of living, what they were going to do, and he said on insurance, if we get in and they haven't cleaned up their act, this is what we'll look to do. He said it clearly, and he said it clearly again yesterday. Now that was a pre-recorded interview for Sunday Agenda. Why wasn't Angus Taylor and Sussan Ley told, or why didn't, after it aired, they seek an answer from Peter Dutton, or what should be my line on this if I'm asked? I mean, every day they get talking points from the leader's office. Why don't the talking points include this? So, it spells kind of trouble, and it suggests to me that maybe Dutton, Taylor and Ley don't work as closely as they could. I mean, I could be criticised for making too big an assumption there, but it's messy, put it that way. And they need to now come up with a unified position, that's for sure.
Particularly ahead of an election. Thank you, Andrew.